everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to do a video on what to expect when you get a vagus nerve stimulator implant surgery. I got my device put in on April 1st and they turned it on April 12th. So I was just going to go through some of the things that I went through that you might not know yet, and some of the things that I wasn't expecting that I now know. Before we get into it, if you would, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe down there. That would be wonderful. So let's start with recovery. My recovery was not very painful, but kind of like any surgery, it was really uncomfortable. Like, I was really stiff. Like, my neck was stuck like this, in like this kind of position for like 3 weeks after the surgery. And honestly, a little bit after, I still had a little bit of a head tilt. So it wasn't comfortable, but it wasn't the most painful surgery in the world either. Now, one of the things that I really wasn't expecting from the recovery and from the surgery was how big the incisions were. There is one incision here, and there is one incision right here. And they were both supposed to be about an inch long or a little bit more. But they ended up, as you can see, they're a lot longer, and the other one is about this long. They're not an inch long at all, like at all. The one down here is probably 4 to 5 inches, maybe 4.5 inches. It's really long. So I was expecting it to be a little more discreet, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, but I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it was. So that was one of the things that I really wasn't expecting. So now on to getting the device turned on. And most likely, if you clicked on this video, you are either getting a VNS implanted, or you know someone that's getting a VNS implanted, or maybe you're just interested to learn about it. But a vagus nerve stimulator, or VNS, is basically, it's what it sounds like. It's a stimulator. It sends electrical current to the brain to distract the brain from having a seizure, in my case. So it pretty much, what we're hoping it will do is cut off the seizure at the start, is like just distract the brain by sending electrical current to it. So they turned the device on April 12th, and it was, I was expecting it to be weird because it's an electrical current, but it was so much more painful than I had expected it. I don't mean to scare you here, but it was very painful for me just because I wasn't used to that, and obviously it just felt so weird right here, and it made me cough every time it came on. When they first turned it on, it was at like, I don't remember what milliamp it was on, but it was at a very low milliamp, and it was only coming on every 5 minutes. But every 5 minutes, I was like hacking up a lung. Like, it sounded like I had bronchitis or something every time it came on. And it felt like I couldn't talk. Like, every time it came on, I would just stop and not speak because it felt so weird right here. It felt like somebody was like putting a hand on my throat or something. But so he turned it up every 2 weeks to turn up the milliamps. Every 2 weeks that he would turn it up, it would get higher and higher. And as it got higher, it didn't necessarily become more painful because I was used to it by then. But every time he turned it up, it felt like, whenever it would go off, it felt like there was something stuck in my throat. Like whenever you swallow a chip or something, and you're like, like you've got something in your throat right there, and you just feel like it's like cutting off your windpipe or something. As it got turned higher, and even now it does every now and then, as it got turned higher, it just felt like there was something in my throat. And it did get less painful, but it almost got more uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. But I am more used to it now. Currently, the device is set on 1.75 milliamps, and it stays on for 30 seconds, and it comes on every 3 minutes. So the off time is limited. But every time it comes on, I don't really notice it anymore, but they gave me a magnet, which you get with the device, that you can turn it on by waving the magnet in front of the device. So if my parents come up on me and I'm having a seizure, they can take this off my wrist and wave it across, and it is supposed to either slow the seizure down so that it ends quicker or end the seizure. And so far it has not stopped any seizures, but we knew that going into the surgery. The doctors did lots and lots of tests and screening and all this, and they said that it may or may not help. So we knew going into it that it could help and it could not. So we're kind of okay with whatever we're getting. One thing that I wasn't expecting, probably the biggest thing just for me that I wasn't expecting from the device, was how it would affect my voice. I have a friend that has a VNS, and she said that it did affect her voice, but I hadn't really ever noticed it on her. I guess you notice it more on yourself. But it has affected my voice drastically. When it comes on, I sound like a straight up robot. I mean, it sounds really, really crazy. So I wasn't expecting that, and I'm still honestly a little disappointed about that, just because it's totally not normal to just walk around and start talking and you sound like a robot. But the magnet does, if you swipe the magnet across the device, then it makes it come on, but if you hold the magnet on, then it turns the device off for as long as the magnet is on it. So if I was to sing, or I spoke at a women's conference a couple weeks ago, so I could just, hold the magnet on my chest if I wanted it to go off and stay off for however long. But you don't normally see people walking around like this, so I can't really keep it off all the time. But, and it does sound really interesting. My dad says it sounds like a 2-stroke engine. Two-stroke engine, right? We have noticed that my recovery time from seizures is better, and we have noticed that. Long and short of it, it has not been the worst thing in the world. I was really scared for the surgery, just because, they're running wires to your brain. I wasn't okay with that. But I've gotten used to it, and I've grown accustomed to it, and it doesn't bother me as much now. But it was not the worst surgery in the world. So if you are having this surgery, just go with it. And I have seen just a little bit of benefit from it. We will take that little bit of benefit over no benefit. So, it's just here. Now it's just a part of me, literally. And I also like to tell people that I'm a really wired person, because I'm wired. Corny dad joke, I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, that's really it. And if you are getting this surgery, then good for you. And you can do this. It's totally cool. Don't be too scared. Do not worry. Just pray about it. That is all I have for today, and I thank you so much for watching this video, and have a wonderful day. Bye.